All right, so in this tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to build off of what we did here. We have this avatar, we select the avatar, and now we're going to come to this slide. And when we're on this slide, we want to display the avatar, and we're going to start working with the modules. So let's go ahead and figure out how we want to display the avatar. Now, you could do it the way we did it here, where we have a single object with multiple states in it. That's easy to do, but what happens if I have, like in this case, it works fine because it's just a badge image. But what happens if I have this big picture of John here, but I come back and based on other decisions, I want to change the state of John. Do I want to have one object and then have multiple versions of Maria in there and multiple versions of John? I don't know. So having two separate objects, a Maria object and a John object, gives me a little bit more flexibility when it's outside of that badge image frame, because I know I'm only working with one state there, where I want to have the freedom to use that character in multiple ways and provide different state changes and expressions and those things. So let's go ahead. We're going to do this a different way than we might normally do it, and that's just to show you a different technique. So I'm going to put the characters on a layer rather than put them on the slide. And that's just to show you something different. So I'm going to create a layer here. We're going to call this one Maria. And so this is the Maria layer, and I'm going to insert a character. So we'll go ahead and insert Maria here. Let's crop her up so she's a little bit larger on the screen so that we can put her down here, and let's just zip her up here. All right, so I got the Maria character, and the reason I put her on here first, and then I do the John character, John. So do John here, and I'm going to select my character and choose the other guy, and now I have him and I can move him over. All right, so this looks good. I'm going to save this. One other thing we want to do while it's saving is let's make sure we title these, because it's just always a good tip. Now I could call it John, or some people might say John layer 1 or something like that, but we're not going to do that. It just depends on what your needs are. So Maria, so we've got a John and Maria layer. So now because I have Maria as a separate object, I can go in here and put multiple states for Maria. So I could have one where maybe she's giving you positive feedback, maybe she's giving you negative, all of that. So that's why I have that. Now the only reason I did that on the layers is just to show you a different production technique. So a lot of people will do that. Well, they'll compartmentalize or take things off of the main slide and put them in layers just so you can manage those. So we'll just have a John and Maria layer just because we can do that. And what we need to do is have a trigger that shows those. And when do I want to show those layers? I want to show those layers when the avatar variable has a certain value. So let's go ahead and add a trigger on our main slide. And we're going to do this. What do I want to do? I want to show layer, and we'll say John, when the timeline starts of the slide, on the condition that variable avatar is equal to the value of John. Okay. And we're going to copy this and paste it. And we want to show the Maria layer when the variable is equal to Maria. So that looks good. Let's save this and then let's test it. So what should happen is it could show Maria, it could show John. They're right here, so they're not covering anything up. But by having them on a layer, I do have a little bit more control over what do I want to put on the slide. So let's preview the scene and see what we have. All right, so we click through here, add my name, choose character, that works, and there's Maria. Let's go backwards. Let's just choose John, and there's John. So all of that looks good. It's working exactly the way we want it to work. Now we're going to go ahead and start working on this. Now this right here is going to link to module 1. This is going to link to module 2. It's linked to module 3. This links to the suitcase. So those are all pretty easy to do. Now the one thing we do notice is this one I can click on and goes to module 1. These haven't been unlocked yet. Now there's all sorts of reasons why you can unlock something. You could unlock it if you let's say you're going through a linear progression like this, and I want you to do section 1 first, and then I unlock section 2, and then I unlock section 3. Or you can base it on mastery of something, right? So you go through module 1, and these are based on your skill level. So you go through module 1, maybe there's an activity in module 1. Once you've demonstrated your ability to do something in module 1, then you're at a higher skill level, and then you have access to other content. Or maybe in module 1 you have the opportunity to collect coins, and once you have 15 coins collected, that's enough to demonstrate you know something, and then we're going to unlock module 2. But maybe you can collect 100 coins or a potential 100 coins or whatever, but the thing is you can determine why you want to do that, but the process of unlocking is basically the same. So these here are disabled, I believe, and so we're going to click on this. Once we complete a module, then we're going to enable the other one. So let's go ahead and see how we're going to do that. So if you look at them, the buttons here, they just go to the wherever they need to go. Now you'll notice that even though this says jump to module 2, it can't jump to module 2 because the initial state here is disabled. So what I did is on these buttons there's the disabled state. So I set the initial state to disabled, and then once you complete a module, we'll be able to come back and change these to normal, and when they're normal they're going to be clickable. So let's go ahead and set up our variables first. So I need a module 1 complete variable, a module 2 complete variable, and a module 3 complete variable, because when module 3 is complete, then I'm going to be able to show this and say, hey, you're done with the course. See you later. All right, so let's create our variables. So we're going to do this module 1. I'll just say module 1 complete. And we're going to use true false because at the default it's not complete, so it's false. And we can just copy this and paste it. And we'll just clean this up here, and we'll say module 2 complete, and we'll paste it again, and we're going to say module 3 complete. All right, so we've got our module 1, module 2, module 3. This is what we're tracking. Now, whatever changes it from false to true, it can be something simple like clicking a button. It could be something a little bit more complex, like you need a certain level, a certain number of points earned, right? So you might be collecting points, and then when points equals a certain value, you can change it to true. It could be an activity that you have to complete. So it could be something simple or it could be something complex, but whatever it is at the end of that, when you've determined that they've accomplished something, you're going to change that from false to true. So we have our variables set up here. This is where it's always good to have a reference. So let's go ahead and add a reference. Let's just scrunch this up here. For our demo, I'm just going to add a reference into the line here. So I'm going to insert a reference here. So we'll do module 1 here. So we've got that. And we'll insert a reference here. Module 2, just so it's lined up there. And we'll insert a reference here. And we're only doing this. So actually, I probably shouldn't do it this way, because if I want to hide them, I can't hide them. I got to delete them. So let's go ahead and preview this as it is. And we can see that it's all set to false, right? And when I click on it and I go through it, we want to set those to true. So let's go ahead and create those. And actually, while we're doing that, I'm just going to delete all this stuff here. I'm going to get rid of this and make it work the right way. So, because then I can't turn them on and off. So let's insert text here. Control V, I had that. So this is the first one. So that's there. We do the second one, and we do the third one, and then I just have to change these numbers. Always do things the right way, and then it's going to save you time. Okay, so we've got our modules. If we preview this slide, they should all say false. Right, so they're all false. When I'm done with module 1, I want this to be set to true, and when this is true, I want to make module 2 available, and when 2 is done, I want 2 to be true, and I want 3 available, and when 3 is done, I want it to be true, and I want to be able to show that completion layer. So we can already build those triggers even though we're not doing the completions yet, but we know what we want to do. So for module 2, we're going to jump to module 2 when the user clicks, but on the condition that this is not disabled, but that it's normal, right? So we need to change the state of that to normal. So we can just do something. What's going to change the state of this to normal? Well, we can say when we load the slide up, if module 1's complete and it's true, then let's go ahead and change the state of this to normal. And when this is normal, then the link should work. So let's go ahead and add a trigger. What do we want to do? We want to change the state of button module 2 to normal when timeline starts. On what condition? On the condition that variable module 1 is equal to the value of true. All right, so we've got that, and then so that would unlock this one, and then we just go ahead and copy and paste that. And let's look at what we have here. We want to change the state of button 3, module button 3, to normal when timeline starts on the condition that module 2 is complete. And hit OK. And we'll paste it one more time. And here we want us to, we actually don't want to change the state. We want to show layer, our complete layer, when timeline starts on the condition that module 3 is complete and it's equal to true. So basically, when we go through module 1, that's going to set it to true. Then this will be unlocked. Then this will be unlocked. And when all 3 of them are unlocked and the slide loads, it's going to show the complete layer. So that should work when we get to that. I believe that is all we need on this particular slide. Let's just look at our source slide and see what we have here. So we've got our avatars, we've got our buttons set up here, and we've got our layer, and we're going to show that when module 3, when all 3 are true and module is complete. So we'll have to look at that. I can't remember what I put on there, but let's call that good until we actually get to, where's my file from? Let's go ahead and call this good until we actually complete these. Or actually, let's go ahead, since we have nothing but time, let's go ahead and all right, so that's all set up. Now we're going to go ahead and let's just add these module complete triggers to those slides just so we can verify that those things are working the way we want them to. So let's go ahead at the end of module 1 here. We're going to make them simple, and we can always come back and fix them. So what we want to do is we want to adjust variable. Which variable? We'll say module 1 complete. We'll make it the value true based on the timeline starting from now, and we'll change that when we get to the others, when we actually work on these slides. So we'll do the same thing here. Adjust variable, module 2 complete, make that equal to true when the timeline starts. And we've got this last one here. And what we want to do here is we want to make module 3 equal to the value of true when the timeline of the slide starts. Oops, I'm not on the slide, I'm on the timeline of the slide starts. I'm on the layer, so let me get out of the layer. let me go in here, change the state, just a variable, module 3 complete, value true when the timeline of the slide starts. Let me just double check that because I might have clicked in the layers. It's always good to make sure that was in the right place. Okay, so let's go ahead and preview this entire project. And that's going to allow us to see how those variables work. And that's why I create that suitcase up on the, or the quick link here, so I can set the variables, which we haven't gotten to yet. So add some stuff here, got my avatar. It's my avatar. I'm going to go to module 1, come back, I go to module 1, come back here. I'm done with it. Now module 2 is unlocked. Go to module 2. Click through, that should set it, and module 2 is unlocked. Go to module 3, click through, and that should, there's no link back here, but this should take us back. If we go to the menu, that should be complete, and we should get our exit course. So everything is working the way we want it to work. So in the next tutorial, we'll start to look at tracking and some other things. We got a little progress meter and some of those things. So we'll see you in the next tutorial.